Adam, did you just hear that?
Do you know who built this
house? He saw you. We want to know who you are.
I was trying to look in his face, but I couldn't see any other, like, markings.
You scared me?
We're Amy and Adam, and this is Kindred Spirits Inside the Investigation.
This investigation is in West Boylston, Massachusetts, and involves Martha, her son Ethan, and her brother Peter.
When we were called into this case, it was very concerning because a lot of the activities seem to revolve around Ethan, who is a teenage boy. His mother sent us photos of scratches that were on his back.
Right.
He was saying that something was coming out of his closet and attacking him at night. He had a really interesting encounter in the woods behind his house.
These statements are rattling by all accounts. I mean, not only is this weird figure in the woods behind the house staring at Ethan and affecting him, but he also feels like it's potentially coming into the house.
They were okay with the activity until things started happening to Ethan. That was the catalyst for her where she wanted more help. So I don't know if I was picking up on the discomfort level of the family with us being there, or if I was picking up on whatever entity was there at the time, but I just remember feeling very uncomfortable in that house. This kind of, that like weighing down on your shoulders kind of oppressive feeling of like, you are not wanted here. We have a case that's basically a family. There's the mom, her brother, and her son live here, and her son, who's 16, saw something in the woods, and ever since then, nothing's been the same. So,
for him or the whole family?
For him and the family,
right,
but mostly for him.
Right.
We were able to bring in Grant Wilson, who has this very calming, kind of reassuring demeanor, which I think is what Ethan needed to kind of open up a little bit more about his experiences.
What exactly were you seeing?
I mean, I've seen some unexplained stuff, but the face really got my attention. I was trying to look in his face, but I couldn't see any other, like, markings or just, it was just all black.
Okay.
And that one scared me the most.
We use a lot of different ways to communicate, but the call and response thing sometimes really does work for us, and it worked for us in this case.
Adam, did you just hear that?
Yeah.
It whistled back to me. I definitely heard that.
Almost immediately, someone or something started whistling back to us from the woods and kind of mimicking the whistle and then moving oddly. I remember, you know, the whistle would come from over here, but then almost instantly a whistle would come from over there, and there was just no way anyone could have moved that fast or without us hearing them. You know, we discovered during our investigation that the wood that was used to build this house was brought from houses that had been dismantled when a dam nearby was flooded. So while Martha thought the house was built in 1955, that wood was actually dating back to like 1870.
Objects can be haunted, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you've got a house built from many different houses. We have no idea where it came from, right? So the activity happening in the house, we determined was residual. We knew that there was something to it. We just didn't know what it was until all the pieces started adding up.
Yeah, this was, I mean, I loved the way every little piece of the puzzle came together. And it just goes to show, like, you never know how a case is going to end up. It was just fascinating to keep following that trail and you know, and to find out so much history in addition to the haunting. And so I think Martha was really thankful for that information about their home. But, you know, we found out that a number of homes on that street were made from that same wood.
There was a boy who came down here from this house. He saw you. We want to know who you are. Just talk to us, and I should be able to hear you through this, okay? So Adam's gonna ask you questions, and I'm gonna listen for you.
We were doing the spirit box experiment in the woods, which is basically where Adam or I will listen to the spirit box doing its sweep through FM or AM frequencies. And it goes through quickly, so it produces a white noise. And from that white noise, we sometimes hear voices. And so We believe that sometimes spirits will use a spirit box to talk to us. Typically, people will use them just out in the open, and everybody listens to it at once and kind of talks about what they think it's saying. What we've done to kind of eliminate the power of suggestion is one of us will listen to the spirit box with a pair of noise-canceling headphones and a blindfold on. So the person who's listening has no idea what the other person is asking or saying. Right. You can't see how they're reacting. There's nothing to lead you.
Do you live in water?
Yes.
Did you drown in the water?
Do you know who built this
House.
Do you go into the house? Do you live in that house?
Wood.
We didn't understand what that meant until later on, when we found out that the wood that was used to build the house was actually taken from these houses that had been flooded during a dam building nearby. Right. I don't think you expect to be so kind of in a trance while you are listening to the spirit box, because all you hear is that flip, 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 word, flip, 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 word. And when you listen to that for so long, you start to kind of zone out and you're in your own world.
You have to sort of center and focus yourself, right? Because if you start in a heightened sense of anxiety, it's only gonna get worse from there. So you take a deep breath, and it's almost like you go underwater and you can feel yourself sort of floating. It's the weirdest thing.
You scared me.
Sorry. Sorry. That was scary. One thing we always strive to do is find a solution, a natural solution to activity before we even look at the paranormal. What was great about this case specifically is that we could have you and Grant in the attic space of the garage, and I was able to go into Ethan's room and see if any of those sounds in the garage would translate into Ethan's space.
Well, here, pretend like you're a rat. Where does that sound like it's coming from to you, Adam?
If I didn't know where you were, I possibly could think that it was coming from the closet area.
The tapping could definitely be made by animals. The one thing people always say to us is, my house is haunted. And you go, well, you'd rather it not be haunted, right? You'd rather it not be a ghost, because then what does that tell you? That tells you that there's just natural things that are happening and it is not active and it's not a ghost. So finding that, I think, was a relief to me. Sometimes you just have to dig a little bit deeper. You have to open doors, you have to look at things. You have to go that extra mile. You have to keep looking, keep turning over a new leaf and finding the solution. And then when you can't, then you look at the paranormal. Thanks for watching, and keep up with Kindred Spirits and more behind-the-scenes action on Travel Channel Go.